of company CFO Gustavo Arnal. Before his death last Friday, the struggling retailer did complete a $500 million refinancing deal that keeps it out of bankruptcy for now, but could Arnal's death complicate the company's plan for a future stock offering? Charlie Gasparino's been on the story.
I just want to say these stories are very difficult to cover.
Absolutely.
You got to be very careful assuming stuff, and people do this tragically do this for a lot of reasons. Mm-hmm. They could have past mental illness issues, depression on top of the fact that they're in the middle of a firestorm, and then
a very public one.
Very public. Mr. Arnal was in the middle of that. Here's what's kind of baffling, though, just the people that I spoke with, and these are people that worked on the restructuring deal with him, is that this was kind of a good thing that he did. I mean, he achieved something pretty remarkable in a very short period of time. I mean, they just got whacked with that Ryan Cohen selling the stock. They have problems on the balance sheet. He didn't cause them. It's the business itself.
He took over as they were in big trouble.
Right. So all this stuff is going on, and he pulls off a fairly significant restructuring. They got lending. People. It was a process led by J.P. Morgan. And they have creditors that wanted part of it. Obviously, they have decent terms. They have first lien on the assets, and retail assets, apparently, I've been told, are something that you want to lend money to because you can sell them, if you have to take over the company in a bankruptcy. So he achieved something really good. And then there's a potential for a stock sale. They're going to do a stock offering going forward with Jefferies. So all this stuff came together. He's the CFO, so he's in the middle of all this. This is a really good thing. And then he does what he does. We should point out that a lot of talk has been there's been a lot of speculation about him selling some stock, right around the same time that Ryan Cohen, the Chewy guy, that was a board member.
These were pre-planned.
They were pre-planned, so
yeah,
they were already
forget that.
So pre-planned when it hits a number, so it triggers a pre-planned sale, and again, you have to cover the story. When a CFO of a troubled company kills himself, you definitely have to cover it and ask the questions. But this just may be a thing where the poor guy was just overwhelmed or maybe had some issues. We don't know what's in his background.
How does it complicate what
That's a great question. They have to do. They need capital, obviously, right? Now we should point out that the creditors that lent them the money have first lien or a pretty significant lien on the assets. So they're planning, just in case this thing goes under, Chapter 11 or Chapter 7, they can attach those, they get those assets. And, retail assets do sell in the secondary. You can attach those and sell them. So they know what they're getting into, all the creditors here. J.P. Morgan is leading this, we should point out. Then there's Jefferies on the stock sale. And I think the stock sale is where this thing could be really problematic. People don't like buying stocks of companies when, they see this sort of stuff. It becomes an issue, like why, people are going to ask, why did he do it? It becomes a point, it becomes an obstacle to selling stock. Bonds and credit is a little different because remember, you attach yourself to the assets. Stock is something different. So Jefferies is supposed to run it. I've spoken with the people at Jefferies. They do not deny this, that they know they have an uphill battle selling it. There is no date specific on when this thing will be sold. If they can't do the stock sale, then, you're starting to talk maybe Chapter 11. I don't know. They need capital. It's a tragic story. I've covered this a lot. I was there during the Madoff thing, and, I saw what people did. I've seen people, I've had a subject of a story that I wrote who killed himself, essentially, right before the story came out. I mean, this is not fun to cover. This is not a fun story.